What's going on, movie lovers? Welcome to the Apocaflix Movie News Podcast, our movie news podcast where we break down the biggest movie news stories throughout the week. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and I'm joined once again with Giorgio Ramos, or you can call him Gio, however you'd like. Welcome back, man. I don't think you've been on the podcast for about 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Gio's fine, by the way, guys. Man, I have not seen a movie since Suicide Squad, man.
Are you
joking me? What
joking
am I doing with my life?
Wow.
Oh, take that back. I've seen The Nice Guys. I love The Nice Guys.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Yeah, I've seen a few movies since
You guys
then.
have seen a lot of movies.
I've seen Yoga Hosers, which was very interesting.
Kevin Smith.
If you're about that, go check it out. My review will be up probably today, actually. And I've seen Kubo and the Two Strings, which is awesome.
Very really underrated film.
Oh my goodness.
Underappreciated film.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be one of my favorites of the year, but it is one of the best movies of the year, for damn sure. So yeah, and I really want to see Hell or High Water. Hopefully we can check that out.
That's next
soon.
on the list.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know how this works, we break down the biggest movie news stories throughout the week. Jake Berlin sends us the show notes, and we just break it down for you guys. So let's get right into it. Our first topic is something that's not necessarily a huge story, but it's still really exciting, especially for people like us who are fans of Ben Affleck as a director.
Story.
I mean, it is a huge story, but
story.
It's not like a huge headliner. So the first trailer for Live by Night dropped this week, revealing Affleck's prohibition-based film that follows Joe Coughlin, played by Affleck, as he works his way up from bootlegger to notorious Florida gangster. Affleck wrote the script as well, which is based on Dennis Lehan's novel of the same name. Live by Night also stars Elle Fanning, Brendan Gleeson, Sienna Miller, and Zoe Saldana, and has a limited December release date, but will expand everywhere on January 13th of next year. So, Gio, you've watched the Live by Night trailer. What did you think?
Well, first, can you do film fans and movie lovers a favor and explain to everyone else why the movie's releasing in January, a month that's typically known as a landfill? Is this because it's a bad movie or what?
Not at all. It's actually quite the opposite. If you heard what I said earlier, it's getting a limited December release date. So, in order for a lot of movies do this, take a look at American Sniper from a couple years ago. They get a limited release date in December because all a film has to do to qualify for the Oscars is play. It has to be a theatrical play in theaters, and it has to play at least one screening in LA and one in New York. That's the minimal qualification. So, Live by Night is probably going to play in LA and New York late December, and then it'll expand to the rest of the country and the world in January. And you best believe this movie's going to have Oscar consideration. What was Ben Affleck's last film?
Argo.
And what did it do at the Oscars?
It won
Best Picture
and Best Screen.
I think so, but I know it won Best Picture. So yeah, there you go. It is not being dumped in January. It is quite the opposite. It is being prepped for Oscar season.
Yes.
I mean, you could call it Oscar bait if you want, but his films are that great. All three of his films are amazing. And
with that being said, guys, it's Ben Affleck. This guy knows how to direct. If you're still judging him off of Geely and Daredevil, you're an idiot. But
you're stuck in the past.
Yeah. If you have not seen The Town, Gone Baby Gone, or Argo, this guy's 3 for 3 right now. He's batting 1,000. And for this movie, like, you think about what he did with Argo and the period piece. That movie was set back in the 60s or 70s. This one's set back in the 20s.
Yeah, around there. Yeah, Prohibition era.
Yeah. The gangster era. The costumes look great. The cast, I mean, look, a lot of these people, like, there are some names, but there are names that you wouldn't necessarily expect, who's got Scott Eastwood's in this movie. And Sienna Miller, who's
Zoe
very
Saldana.
underrated. Yes. So I'm expecting great performances. Ben Affleck, he knows how to tell a story, man. And when he gets it right all the time. Like, I have zero concerns about this one. It's definitely going to be some Oscar consideration type of movie. It's a movie that he wanted to do. I think it's based off a book or like a real life event.
It's based off of a novel.
A novel, yes. So it's a passion project for Ben Affleck. I'm really excited about it, man.
Yeah, so for me, this has everything that I would look for in an Oscar-type movie. But I will say, I didn't love the trailer.
Okay.
Like, I am so excited for this movie. Like, it's crazy to think if this is really getting a December release date, he has 2 more movies coming out this year, and I think I might throw them both possibly in like my top 5 most anticipated for the rest of the year. The Accountant and Live by Night. But the trailer for me, I feel like it just showed too much. It went on too long. Like, sure. I feel like it could have been cut off like halfway through, and I'm good. That's all I want to see. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. It was just, I feel like it showed too much. But the trailer aside, Ben Affleck directing. Gone Baby Gone is like, dude, I love that movie. And The Town and Argo are great. So, and he just won Best Picture. And for me, I'm a history nut. Like, I love history. And my favorite time era is like the 1920s to the 1930s. That is my favorite time era. And to go back to this time period and directed by Ben Affleck, this cast, I cannot freaking wait, dude. This is going to be amazing. I'm hoping he gets a Best Director nomination, which he did not get for Argo, which doesn't make sense. His movie won Best Picture, and why? Because it was directed great.
Yeah.
But he didn't get nominated, which doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I honestly, this movie looks amazing. And I love that, how like he's the star, but then the rest of the next 3 leads are all women. And I gotta say, Elle Fanning is freaking hot. Like, I think she's hot, dude.
She was supposed to be Jean Grey.
Yeah, I know she's young. She's like 19, but hey, Ben Affleck is like banging her in the trailer, so it's all good.
Anyways.
All right, moving on to our next topic, which might be the biggest topic that we talk about today, and that is the announcement that Joe Manganiello is Deathstroke. So, Justice League is currently in production, and while on set filming, Batman himself, Ben Affleck, took to his Twitter last week to post a video that revealed a new character will be joining the ranks of the DCEU. Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, was revealed in the video, and while we're not sure in what capacity or even what movie he will show up in, we now know who will be the one under the orange and black mask. While speaking with the Wall Street Journal, DCEU head honcho Jeff Johns confirmed that Joe Manganiello will be taking up the mantle of DC's greatest assassin. Best known for his role on HBO's True Blood and the Magic Mike franchise, Manganiello has been rumored and wanted by fans for some time now. Fans' dreams have come true, as Manganiello will be suiting up to take on Affleck's Caped Crusader in the eventual Batman solo film with a possible Justice League cameo. Justice League has a November 17th, 2017 release date. Do you think he will be showing up in the movie, and what do you think of the casting overall?
Yeah, he'll show up in the movie. I mean, why else would you be showing test footage during the production of Justice League? As far as the casting, I have no problems with it. You know, he's great in True Blood. I've seen a couple episodes with him. And the Magic Mike franchise, this will now be his 2nd comic book appearance, because he was Flash in the first Spider-Man movie.
That's very true. That's Flash Thompson.
Back 16 years, yeah.
That's crazy.
And look,
he could have been Venom.
Yeah. I think Warner Brothers, they like what Manu Bennett did for the character in the Arrow franchise. And Joe is kind of like an upgraded Manu Bennett, with all due respect. I think same thing with Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller. You know, like they're kind of keeping with the same like character like traits. I don't know.
I know what you
physically,
mean.
Yeah. So I have no problem with the casting. Look, the character that Deathstroke, he's a badass. I mean, here I'm thinking Will Smith's Deadshot's badass, and then they bring in Deathstroke, and they're like, damn, you know. So I'm excited to see. This is Deathstroke's first time on the big screen. I am curious to see what they have in store. So it definitely raises my interest.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's been the fan casting for like over a year now. He was rumored to play Deathstroke in Suicide Squad, which could have been awesome. I think he could definitely be in the sequel to some capacity. Yeah, it's the perfect casting. I haven't seen much of his work, but I have seen him in quite a few things. He had a small role in How I Met Your Mother, which is like one of my favorite shows, but he was pretty funny in that. And the thing with him is, like, I'm curious how this Slade Wilson, because Slade Wilson's like a very serious character. He's not comedic, but Joe Manganiello has great comedic timing, so I don't know how he doesn't have to play a comedic role, but I'm just wondering how they're going to go about doing that. But just physically, he's perfect for this role. A lot of people wanted him to play Shazam, but I'd much rather have him play Slade Wilson, who's freaking awesome character. And yeah, the thing for me is I'm kind of torn because I love Manu Bennett as this character in the Arrow universe, and the character's still alive in that universe, and they kind of like pushed him to the side, and now I understand why. They did the same thing with Suicide Squad in the TV universe. They killed all of them in the show, so it makes complete sense. It seems like the TV shows are kind of the testing ground for these characters.
Exactly, yeah.
And then they're like, all right, they work, let's bring them to the big screen. So I love the TV show universe just as much as I love the movie universe, so I love both, so I can watch both, and I'm going to enjoy them just as much. So yeah, I love this casting, and I cannot wait. I hope he's in Justice League. I think that Batman's going to recruit him to come help them. That's what I think, but I could be wrong.
I see him as more of an anti-hero, honestly. Like
than a villain?
Yeah, I mean, he has some bad to him, but like Suicide Squad, he's not evil, you know what I'm saying?
He's a mercenary.
Yeah.
Dude, and he's like Deadpool in a way. Deadpool's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I mean, Deadpool can be a villain sometimes in a way, because the X-Men have to fight him sometimes. So it makes sense. All right, moving on to a non-comic book related topic. The new trailer for the movie Gold has came out, starring Matthew McConaughey, Toby Kebbell, Edgar Ramirez, and directed by Stephen Coogan. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's based on a true story of the Bre-X Mineral Corporation mining scandal. The film follows Kenny Wells, a struggling businessman looking for a lucky break. Wells teams up with an eager geologist setting off on a journey to find gold in the Indonesian jungle. Gold also stars Bryce Dallas Howard and is released in theaters on Christmas Day. Gio, we just watched the trailer. What did you think of it, man?
I like Matthew McConaughey. He's kind of had a rocky year. Like you've seen, have you seen Free State?
No, I haven't, but I heard bad things, and no one talks about that movie in a positive light.
Yeah, so maybe this movie can do better for him and get him some more Oscar buzz. The story's very by the numbers. You find something, you get rich, all of a sudden you're living a good life, and then all of a sudden bad stuff starts to happen. Like I've seen that before, but it's all about McConaughey for me and what he's able to do in these kind of performances that require like heavy performance driven and whatever makeup he's wearing, so I'm definitely interested in that part, and we'll see. It's it should be a good movie for him.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily interested in the story itself, but this movie's a vehicle for McConaughey to potentially get another Oscar nomination. I feel like from now, ever since him winning that for Dallas Buyers Club, he's going to be in the conversation every other year at least. So who knows? Sometimes these movies that are built for Oscars don't pan out, But you never know. We will not know until we see the movie. But it looks interesting. I really love McConaughey as an actor, especially after watching Dallas Buyers Club, and if I'm going to go see it, it's for his performance, and the story comes second after that. So yeah, I liked the trailer. I didn't love it per se, but I definitely will be seeing it for McConaughey. All right, moving on to our next topic, and it has to do with Johnny Depp starring in a film about an investigator who takes on the death of Tupac and Biggie. So Screen Daily reported this week that Johnny Depp has been cast in Labyrinth as Russell Poole, the LA detective who investigated the unsolved assassinations of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. The film is based on the book of the same name by journalist Randall Sullivan, which followed Poole's investigation of a cop-on-cop shooting. Poole found evidence linking the killed officer to the death row records, leading him to uncover much more than what he set out to do. But Gio, how do you feel about this? It's an interesting story, right?
Yeah, I love the role for Johnny Depp. The guy, when he gets more opportunities like this, it's what I want to see from Johnny Depp. I mean, you do too much of the like the Mordecai or the Captain Jack Sparrow or any of that stuff where he has to take drugs.
Well, people stop taking him seriously,
And then what was that movie last year that came out where he played Whitey Bulger?
Black Mass.
That movie, even though it wasn't the best
movie wasn't great. He was great in it.
His performance was great,
and so was Joel Edgerton.
Yeah. But for this movie, I'm more interested in what kind of performance he can give than I am about the story, because we still don't know who did it. Like, as far as Pac and Biggie's murders, we don't know. I'm sure they'll highlight some of the details, but how far can you go in this? So I mean, we'll see. You know, I'm curious what kind of story, like what they're going to be able to give us. You know, that we don't already know. I don't know. But,
well, I'm not worried about that. I just, as long as they could tell a good story, and if it's, I don't know if this is setting up Johnny Depp to give a great performance or not, but it sounds like it. Here's the thing with Johnny Depp is, we always say he needs to do more dramatic work. That's where he needs to take and continue his career, because he's a great actor. Like he really is, and he does. I don't mind him doing roles because he obviously enjoys it.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, mix it up a little bit. For a while, all he was doing was these kooky roles. And if you see Yoga Hosers, you'll see he plays another character like that, but they did it on purpose. He's basically saying "F you" to Hollywood. I can play these characters if I want. But yeah, I can't wait to see this. Like, I'm a huge fan of rap and hip hop. I've always been intrigued with this story. Like, are their murders linked together, or are they just coincidence that they were killed 6 months apart? So I'm really curious, and I'm actually surprised Johnny Depp took this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I wonder if he has any interest in the content, or if it's just like, oh, this will be a good role for me.
Probably. Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's a universal topic that people always wonder. So, yeah, I can't wait to see a trailer, and maybe it'll be around Oscar season next year. Who knows? So, moving on to James Cameron and some comments he had on Avatar. So, while speaking with Variety, Cameron shared the storyline he has planned for the sequels, saying, quote, "The storyline in the sequels really follows Jake and Neytiri and their children. It's more of a family saga about the struggle with humans. Avatar 2 currently holds a Christmas 2018 release date, but Cameron says they will move it again if necessary." So, Gio, how do you feel about these comments?
Well, as far as the story goes, look, family saga, it works for Star Wars. What's that about? That's really about a family saga. Who's Rey's family? Where does Finn? Where did he come from? You know, the conflict between. I don't need to explain. You guys already know. But as far as Avatar,
no, I've never heard that story before. Keep going.
As far as Avatar goes, it presents another interesting what was it, dynamic? You know, to the story. You know, and how much more about Avatar? I mean, there's things you can explore in Avatar, but none of that really matters if you don't have like a human element, you know, if you don't humanize these characters even further. And how do you do that? Children, family, them growing up, that kind of stuff. The upbringing of the Na'vi. We haven't seen that before. You know, we know how the Na'vi does their work and their rituals and all that, but how are you raised in Pandora, you know, to be a fighter, to be a warrior, to be, you know, whatever. You know, I'm interested to see that. And as far as James Cameron moving the release date again, go on right ahead, man. I got plenty of comic book movies and Star Wars movies and Fast and Furious movies to keep me, you know, occupied. So, you want to move the release dates? Go ahead. Everybody's doubting you as far as this Avatar sequel goes. They obviously forgot about Terminator 2 and Aliens and what you can do with sequels. I have no problem with it. You want to move it? Move it. Go ahead, buddy. Because I know what you do next. It's going to be great no matter what. We're all going to be in theaters no matter what, because you're James Cameron and you're fucking awesome.
Well, I have been vocal about this. I don't really care about an Avatar sequel or a threequel or
so the release date doesn't bother you?
Not really.
Okay.
But I will say, hearing these comments actually gets me excited for the sequel.
Good.
That's the thing. Like, I didn't really care. Like, I don't really. I mean, I enjoyed the visual experience of seeing Avatar.
Cinematic achievement.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And kudos to James Cameron for achieving that. He's one of the best directors of all time.
Yes.
He's touched ground where no other directors have, and he has the 2 highest grossing films of all time. There's no doubting that. And he's directed some of the best movies of all time in Terminator 2 or even Aliens.
With some of the most limited actors of all. Arnold Schwarzenegger. How does he?
Yeah, so I'm not doubting James Cameron. I love James Cameron and his movies. Titanic is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Think what you want about Titanic. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But I like this because there is going to be a significant time jump in reality in our world, and then in the world of Pandora. I'm curious because he's not really their race, right? Jake, the main character.
Yeah.
So that's his So, enlighten me if I don't remember correctly, but like, did he permanently go into that body?
Yeah, he transferred his soul conscious whatever.
So he cannot go back to his human self, right?
No, his human self is dead.
So he's that. Okay, so he can like fornicate with her and have children now,
sure,
supposedly. Yeah. I mean, obviously. So I imagine it starts off, they have like a teenage son and he's trying to train his son, and they probably have a daughter, and I like that. Interests me. I did not give a shit about this sequel until now. So good. I like these comments.
And we've
overall.
never seen James Cameron tackle a family aspect in any of his films, right? I mean, it's
Terminator,
usually...
Sarah Connor and her son.
And that's great. That
exactly.
works well.
That's what I'm saying.
So, there's hope, people.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, moving on to our... It's not that new anymore, but it is our newest segment on the Movie News Podcast, and that is Take One or Leave One, where we take two topics and talk about them, and each panelist says whether they take it or leave it. It doesn't necessarily mean you hate the one that you leave, just means that you like the one that you're taking a little bit more. So our first matchup today involves a pair of comments. The first comes from director James Gunn, revolving around the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer everyone keeps asking for. And that's exactly what Gunn is talking about. During another huge Q&A with fans, Gunn said the following: "The schedule for the trailers has been decided upon, and no matter how many times you request on social media that they come out faster, which has lately been happening dozens of times a day, what is done is done." The second comment comes from Shia LaBeouf, as he has quite an extensive profile as an actor by Variety. So he was in an interview with Variety, and LaBeouf revealed that Suicide Squad director David Ayer tried to bring him aboard the film in a role that eventually went to Scott Eastwood, but Warner Bros. Vetoed the cast. And this is a quote by Shia LaBeouf: "I don't think Warner Bros. Wanted me. I went in to meet and they were like, nah, you're crazy. You're a good actor, but not this one. It was a big investment for them." So Gio, I know which one you're going to choose. I know you're passionate about one of these comments, so which one do you take? Which one do you leave?
Oh, man, I take the Shia LaBeouf comments all the way. No, with all due respect to James Gunn, I'm looking forward to the trailer, but the fans need to, shut up and just be patient. As far as Shia LaBeouf goes, if you guys haven't read the piece on Variety that he did, check it out. It goes into his personal life, why he was struggling with all the alcohol and the drugs and the public disturbances that he did, working with Steven Spielberg, and then he goes into how David Ayer approached him for the role. Now, we both seen Fury, and we love Fury. What Shia LaBeouf
is great
what
in
he
that
did
movie.
In that movie. You can make an argument that he did the best performance. I'm not saying that's for sure, but an argument can be made.
I mean, they were all great.
Yeah. Look, all right, Shia, he is one of those actors for me that if he's in the movie, I'm immediately interested to see what he can do, because this guy, he's so intense in his preparations. In Fury, he pulled out one of his teeth. He actually cut his face just to make the wounds, the scars, real. This guy goes the lengths. And if you know anything about the Suicide Squad behind the scenes, that the preparations between Fury and Suicide Squad were similar. So I thought he would have been a perfect fit. As far as Warner Brothers goes, look, okay, you guys just write the checks and get out of the way. Don't start being these casting directors and whatnot, because you basically told Shia LaBeouf, you're crazy, you're not good enough for this project. And what happened? You guys got in your own way and you made what to many people consider a mediocre comic book movie. Suicide Squad, when I think of David Ayer and the Suicide Squad final product, it's it doesn't match up, because we know what David Ayer does. He's very dark, edgy, film guy, all about the characters. And with Suicide Squad, it just doesn't match up to what, we expect from him. So in the end, Shia LaBeouf, he dodged a bullet, I think, because his character that he was supposed to play got cut down a lot in favor of Will Smith's backstory for Deadshot. So Shia LaBeouf would have been wasted. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that he's not in the movie. No, actually, I am glad that he's not in the movie. And so, maybe in Suicide Squad 2, they'll let David Ayer make the movie that he wants to make, and it'll be more edgier, it'll be more ballsy, and maybe Shia LaBeouf can be in that one. But, that's just how I feel about it.
So it's hard because, how do you approach this comment? You could leave it because you're upset about what Warner Bros. Did to him, or you can take it because you like what he said and you're sticking up for him. So I take that comment as I'm going to take the James Gunn comment and leave the Shia LaBeouf one,
sure,
because I'm leaving that Warner Bros. Left him out of that movie and the way they treated him. I'm leaving that, and I'm taking James Cameron responding to fans like, look, fans are gonna. You're on the internet. Unless you want to delete your Twitter, you're not gonna avoid this stuff. So I understand where James Cameron's coming from, and yes, you can't control all these random people around the world who can speak their mind within seconds online. They're gonna keep asking for the freaking trailer no matter what. If James Gunn tweets about something like that has nothing to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, they're gonna write, when's the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer coming out? So he's very vocal online, and I like how much he interacts with the fans, but he also he gets pissed off a lot, and you could tell. So I'm taking his comments, and I'm leaving the Shia LaBeouf ones, not because of him, because of Warner Bros. I'm very glad he didn't take this role, because I really like Shia LaBeouf as an actor. Great in Fury. I think he has a movie coming out later this year called American Honey, and I think because a lot of the movies where we see that he's great in, he's working with an ensemble cast, and he's kind of, even though his performance is great, he's kind of overlooked because of the other actors around him. American Honey seems like it's him and that girl, and they're like the two leads. So I feel like I'm hoping we get something really special with that movie. It looks something very different for him. So, but ultimately, I'm glad he didn't take this role, because that role was bullshit. What the hell? Scott Eastwood is cool in his limited roles, but what was that role? It was nothing. You don't even know that character's name. He barely talked, and he exits the film out of nowhere. So yeah. So anyways, moving on to our next take one or leave one. It includes the 2 new trailers that dropped this week. The first is for Underworld Blood Wars, which follows Kate Beckinsale's vampire death dealer Celine, who is brought back into the war of vampires and werewolves as a new formidable Lycan leader. She takes hold of the Lycan... Is that how you pronounce it? Lycan? Or Lycan clan. The second trailer is for Collateral Beauty from the director of Spotlight, and it stars Will Smith, Edward Norton, Keira Knightley, Michael Pena, Naomi Harris, Kate Winslet, and Helen Mirren. Woo, what a cast.
Yeah.
It's kind of a complex story. I don't think I need to explain the plot. Look it up on IMDb. But so we watched these 2 trailers, Gio. Which one are you taking? Which one are you leaving?
I gotta take the Collateral Beauty. Look, Underworld, it's cool, but there's a reason why it's releasing. There's a reason why it's releasing in January. It's because the last one and the one before that didn't do so well in comparison to the first couple of installments.
I think they should release it in January, even if it is good.
It's the perfect movie. You go action.
If it came out in the summer, it would bomb.
It wouldn't last. And we were talking about it. We think Kate Beckinsale as Celine and Mila Jovovich.
Oh yeah.
Her character Alice, right? They should combine franchises and
heck yeah.
Then you have something that you can put in the summer. But as far as Collateral Beauty goes, look, Will Smith, we've seen what he can do in dramatic roles. I've seen movies like 6 Degrees of Separation and Pursuit of Happiness, and with this movie, it's more about life and finding purpose after you've fallen down, and things like love, and that kind of stuff. So it interests me. I love those kind of stories. It looks like it's going to be a very emotional story. Might shed some tears in the theaters. Who knows? But I love the cast too. Edward Norton, Will Smith. Is it Kate Winslet's in there?
Yeah.
I love this cast, man. This movie has some serious Oscar potential for it. Will Smith, you might actually get a nomination this time. Who knows, the Academy, but hopefully it's because you earned it, and, not because the Academy feels bad. But anyways, love it. Love the trailer. Cannot wait to see Collateral Beauty. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Collateral Beauty trailer and leaving Underworld. I'm not a fan of the Underworld franchise. They're fun little films, and I like that Kate Beckinsale is, this badass female lead, and it was just a stupid trailer in the first place. But even if the Underworld trailer was awesome, I would still take the Collateral Beauty trailer. I had no idea this movie was coming out. I started getting kind of teary-eyed just watching the trailer.
Oh yeah, it's very powerful.
This is going to be Spotlight was arguably the best movie of the year last year, just especially as far as Oscar drama movies go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
you have the same director. What did he do in that movie with an ensemble cast? It worked amazingly. Same thing here. I think this movie has more of a definitive lead. who was the lead in Spotlight? It was hard. I mean, was it Michael Keaton? Was it Mark Ruffalo?
It was an ensemble.
Exactly.
It was a true ensemble.
So this one has a definitive lead, but a great supporting cast. And I've never seen this tackled before in a movie. The subject matter they're going for, where a character is riding to different things in life, like time and death and love, and he writes to these things to help himself therapeutically, and they end up coming to him in a human form and talking to him. Dude, this looks amazing. Like, is he crazy? Is he imagining this stuff, or is it really happening? Is there like some type of fantastical elements going on here? Like, I am so intrigued with this movie. It's crazy. Like, I keep saying this about so many different movies, but this has skyrocketed to one of my most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. Like, Oscar season, I love Oscar season so much, and it's looking to shape out really nicely with Live by Night, Collateral Beauty. There's a couple other movies.
Hacksaw Ridge, baby.
Hacksaw Ridge. Oh my God, it's going like last year. It was a good year for Oscars, but I feel like this year is going to be special. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Collateral Beauty looks amazing. All right, well, wrapping Apocaflix movies up, the traditional movie news up the traditional way with a Showdown Sunday, which we have not done in like a month.
It's back, Gio, baby.
I have no idea what topic you're going to bring up, but that's kind of exciting. So what do we got?
All right, when's the last time we saw Blade 2?
Oh, it's been years.
Yeah, you remember Blade 2, right? The Blood Pack, and how Blade, leads the Blood Pack to go fight off vampires. No?
Yeah.
Well, what would you do if they were who would you pick if they were in a fight with the Suicide Squad? You got Deadshot leading the Suicide Squad, and then you got Blade leading the Blood Pack.
Oh, man.
No. Change that. I put Batman leading the Suicide Squad versus Blade leading the Blood Pack.
So, like, are they fighting each other?
Yeah.
The groups are?
Yeah. So you got Batman versus Blade. You remember Ron Perlman, who's in the group, the ball guy, versus Deadshot. You got
this is hard.
The Lady versus Harley Quinn, the short hair. You got the Donnie Yen's Snowman against Katana. You got Joel Kinnaman against what's his name? God damn it! The dude with the braids.
Man, so
Misa,
I feel like
Blade's girl
Blade would mess everyone up. I mean, but you cannot doubt Batman. So I gotta go with Batman and the Suicide Squad, because no matter what, Batman's gonna outsmart everyone.
Well, I'm thinking like Batman fights Blade while they're all fighting each other. That's gonna be. So you pick Batman and the Suicide Squad.
Yes, I do.
Yep, I do the same thing. Batman and the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's your Showdown Sunday topic?
Yep.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up Apocaflix movie news for this week. I want to thank you all for listening. Gio Ramos, let them know where they can find you online.
Hey, man, great to be back. Find me on Twitter at GioRamos24, and there might be a DC Films podcast coming soon, man.
What?
I got so much on my mind.
What?
I got Jake talking smack about these movies, about Zack Snyder, so I gotta call him out to be my first guest, man.
Oh, you're going to have to talk to the head producer of the Apocaflix Movies YouTube channel about that, and submit an application for a new show.
It's done.
All right, you can find me, Jacob Bartley, on Twitter at @JacobBartley_, and on this YouTube channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment, let us know what you thought about any of the topics that we talked about today, and I don't know, a DC podcast. Then we're gonna have to do a Marvel one.
You can lead the Marvel one, you and Jake, yeah.
MCU podcast. All right, thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.